NSA stands for the National Security Agency. It was originally formed under President Harry Truman in 1952 during World War II. This agency is responsible for collecting and monitoring data and the people connected to it. The agency works to protect the United States against any threat, foreign and domestic, by utilizing the data they observe. The NSA joins with the CIA to maintain a physical presence in various countries around the world. According to their website, NSA receives guidance from the nation's experts in a variety of technical fields through the National Security Agency Advisory Board, or NSAAB, which has been in existence since 1953. In 2005, the NSAAB no longer had to follow the FACA, the Federal Advisory Committee Act, which allowed for open meetings, public involvement, and reporting on their end. The National Security Agency of Emerging Technologies Panel, another name for NSAAB, occasionally monitors and advises NSA Director and is not bound by the FACA. Since the 1940s, the NSA has been collecting telephone information internationally, and from that process they received information on Americans despite them having no connection to foreign targets. This is one of the reasons Congress passed the 1978 Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, which placed limits on how agencies could collect information. In 2001, the Patriot Act gave government officials the ability to gain access to any business or personal records without having to prove the target is a foreign power. They only must claim the target is a part of an investigation to protect against terrorism or clandestine intelligence. Then in 2008, Congress added Section 702 to FISA, which allows the government to obtain intelligence about non-U.S. citizens they believe are abroad without a court order. This also allows them to obtain any information about U.S. citizens that are unintentionally targeted. These make the collection of information on American citizens and visitors extremely easy for the NSA to access. Edward Snowden was a former CIA agent and contractor for the United States government. He worked in various roles in the U.S. intelligence community, including an undercover role for the CIA overseas. Although his primary role was as an infrastructure analyst at the NSA, on June 5, 2013, The Guardian released secret documents that Snowden had stolen from the NSA during his time working there. The documents he revealed to the public about the NSA introduces the mass surveillance programs and capabilities of the NSA that have been operating without public oversight and outside the limits of the U.S. Constitution. Why did he leak NSA intelligence to the public? He famously states in the documentary, Citizens 4, "I don't want to live in a world where everything I do, everyone I talk to, every expression of creativity and love or friendship is recorded." Today, Snowden lives in exile in Moscow, Russia, since the 2013 leaks. 1974. The Privacy Act provides protection of an individual's personal information that is collected by the government agencies and says that all information must be collected legally and will be maintained in a manner which precludes unwarranted intrusions upon an individual's privacy. 1978. FISA. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act established procedures allowing the collection of foreign intelligence by ways such as electronic surveillance, trap and trace devices, physical searches, and business records. 2001. The Patriot Act was passed to improve the government's ability to detect and prevent terrorist attacks in the U.S. It allows government officials to track communication with less regulation, and this makes it less likely to alert those suspected of terrorism. 2008. Section 702 allows government agencies to collect information about foreigners like their emails, texts, and phone calls from communication companies without warrant. This allows them to collect information about U.S. citizens if they are communicating with the targeted foreigner. In January of 2018, Congress approved the renewal of Section 702 to go until 2023. Due to the Snowden leaks, U.S. Congress felt pressure from the public to pass the Freedom Act in 2015 to end the mass collection of millions of Americans' phone data. This was one of the country's most significant surveillance reforms since 1978. This act specifically bans the bulk collection of data of Americans' telephone records and internet metadata and limits the government's data collection to the greatest extent reasonably practical, which means the government cannot collect all data pertaining to particular service providers provider or broad geographic region, such as a city or area code. The Act also specifies what the government can survey, namely, collecting up to 2 hops of surveillance on a target, which we will learn more about momentarily. It also outlines new reporting requirements to FISA, the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. This organization oversees requests for surveillance against foreign spies inside the United States using federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies. Such requests are made most often by the NSA, National Security Agency. In 2013, a former NSA contractor, Edward Snowden, leaked classified information about the NSA. His evidence showed that the NSA tracked and monitored U.S. citizens through metadata in cell phones. An example of how the NSA gathers data on a target is through hops. The process is composed of 3 hops. Imagine a scenario where the NSA is looking into a bad guy in Italy. They go through their metadata to find all the contacts that the target has, which includes friends, relatives, and acquaintances. That's the first hop. The second hop focuses on the target's friends, relatives, and acquaintances metadata, which could also include their friends, relatives, and acquaintances. Then the third hop branches off from those people's metadata and goes through to find their friends, relatives, and acquaintances. After all hops, there is usually millions of people involved in this search. If the target had only 1 contact, then by hop 3 there would be approximately 26,000 people involved. If they had 40 contacts in their phone, the third hop would have approximately 2.5 million people involved. The Snowden leak shed light on some of the software the NSA uses. One of these programs, called XKeyscore, acts as a search interface for internet. An analyst can search through most of the tasks of a typical user. The program is designed to search through data of suspected terrorists. The software's capabilities include looking through email databases, browsing history, instant messaging, and metadata. In a video posted by The Guardian, Edward Snowden said, "I, sitting at my desk, could wiretap anyone, from you, your accountant, to a federal judge, or even the president if I had an email." Expectantly, many U.S. officials denied these claims. This relates to topics in class because we have recently learned how easy it is to collect information without the target's knowledge. For example, the NSA could connect to an unsecure network and collect all emails you send and receive without your knowledge or permission, while at the same time not doing anything illegal.
It was a welcome change when they put me on terrorism watch duty. Every day I'd go in and I'd get starting points for SIGINT, which is Signals Intelligence. A lot of them were American, which felt strange, but you just keep reminding yourself, I could stop a dirty bomb attack and save thousands of lives. Thing is, you're not just following your bad guy targets, you're also following their metadata, which is basically all the phone numbers that they're in touch with. Let's say your target is a shady Iranian banker operating out of Beirut. Okay, so you're watching his stuff, but you're also watching all the people that he talks to, including, his cousin who's just some dentist living in Buffalo. And then you have to watch all of that guy's contacts. And by the time you go a third hop out from the original target, you're watching this bartender chat with her mother about Botox. Because 3 hops from anyone with, say, 40 contacts, you're looking at a list of 2.5 million people. And there's that moment when you're sitting there and the scale of it hits you. The NSA is really tracking every cell phone in the world. No matter who you are, every day of your life, you're sitting in a database, just ready to be looked at. Not just terrorists or countries or corporations, but you.
To search, The U.S. law requires that the NSA acquire a FISA warrant if the target is a U.S. person. However, the FISA warrant is not required if the U.S. person is in contact with a suspected or known terrorist. FISA, or sometimes called FISC, stands for Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act or courts. The FISC website states the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court was established by Congress in 1978. The court entertains applications made by the United States government for approval of electronic surveillance, physical search, and certain other forms of investigative actions for foreign intelligence purposes. Other programs include Gumfish, which is malware that takes control over a webcam and snaps pictures on set time intervals. Captivated Audience is a malware program that takes control over the computer's microphone. Other forms of malware are special keyloggers and custom programs used to extract data from various types of infected machines.